Hello, my name is Jared Cassidy, and welcome to my presentation, Antihaitianismo, the Historical Roots of Anti-Blackness in the Dominican Republic. Anti-Haitianismo is a form of anti-Haitian sentiment, specifically within the Dominican Republic. It has deep historical roots and has affected Afro-Dominicans throughout history and into the 21st century. The island of Hispaniola was originally split between the French colony of Saint-Domingue in the west and the Spanish colony of Santo Domingo in the east. Following the end of a revolt by African slaves within Saint-Domingue, the only successful one of its kind, Haiti was formed in 1804. What we today know as the Dominican Republic would shift back and forth between Spanish rule and independence throughout the 19th century before finally securing their independence entirely in the 20th century. Santo Domingo was the first place in the New World to import African slaves. It is widely considered the birthplace of the African experience in the Americas. Saint-Domingue also imported African slaves who would eventually win their independence. The Haitian Revolution was a successful slave revolt after 13 years of conflict between 1791 and 1804. This successful independence movement by black slaves caused the white Dominican elites to be fearful of the new black republic next door and its influence on revolutionary ideas within their side of the island. The colonists of Santo Domingo, regardless of their color, would soon start calling themselves Blancos de la Tierra, local whites. The history of Dominican anti-blackness has been baked into the nation's power structure since the time of those white slave owners and the Dominican elites. From Haiti's inception, the battle for Afro-descendants in the Dominican Republic against systemic racism has been difficult, and the legacy of those slave-owning Dominicans and their ideals has persisted into modern times. Santo Domingo is the oldest European city in the New World, and it was founded in 1496 by Bartholomew Columbus, the brother of Christopher. Christopher Columbus himself has a giant statue in Santo Domingo, which is a testament to the Dominicans' pride and their Spanish heritage. While the majority of Dominicans are Afro-descendants, most will deny it, and those that have darker skin tend to utilize the word Indio in order to erase their black history and identity. In the year 1937, the Dominican Republic was ruled by dictator Rafael El Trujillo. He ruled from 1930 to 1961. In what many consider both a genocide as well as a land grab, Trujillo had Dominicans of Haitian descent killed, others forced to flee across the border from their fertile lands as they were seized in the 1937 Parsley Massacre. The Trujillo regime would redistribute much of this land to ethnic Dominicans. On September 23, 2013, the Dominican Republic's Constitutional Court ruled that all persons born since 1929 to immigrants in the Dominican Republic were no longer citizens. Their parents were considered in transit. This resulted in the descendants of Haitians, many of whom had never even been to Haiti, being stripped of their Dominican citizenship and becoming stateless. Mass deportations would follow. The Inter-American Commission in 2013 also observed that the situation was affecting in a disproportionate manner those of Haitian descent who are also people of African descent. These people were often identified on the basis of color, a fact that constitutes a violation of the right to equality and non-discrimination within the Dominican Republic. During this same time period, groups including Dominicans for Human Rights, as well as the Solidarity Committee with Denationalized People, would organize the Solidarity Embrace, a one-day event aimed at supporting those affected by the judgment. With the legacy of European colonialism and the use of African slaves, that is where Dominican anti-blackness truly begins. The Trujillo regime, along with the Parsley Massacre, marked the birth of modern anti-blackness. Since that point, Dominicans with anti-black tendencies have felt emboldened. Furthermore, the Dominican court system, in trying to capture the illusion of a white, Euro-descended society, has consistently ruled against the rights of Afro-Dominicans. Despite the majority of Dominicans being Afro-descendants, many Dominicans deny this, and in doing so, perpetuate anti-blackness. The Dominicanization ideology consciously denies that ethnic Haitians had ever been prosperous farmers along the border, or really, citizens at all. Border violence and anti-blackness are still exceptionally common in the Dominican Republic, where Afro-descendants are forced to either deny their history or live on the periphery of Dominican society. Change is long overdue, but much like in the United States, rooting out anti-blackness within Dominican institutions would be a complicated and nuanced process.